Hello and welcome to another session of Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen and these are my colour conversations. The time has come for another monthly reading for all of you according to your birthday month. And this month I'm going to be working with the Healing Energy Oracle. This one is an oracle created by Duguay. He's an author and artist from Uruguay, I believe. Very interesting cards. But firstly, I'd like to welcome back those of you who have been following this series of videos. I certainly hope that you've learned a lot about how colour can influence your life and also how it has the ability to create all sorts of guidance as to how you can react and respond to the various issues that you are faced with throughout each month. I'm coming to you today from a very cold and chilly Australia. And so if I have to stop every now and then just to warm up, please excuse that. If you're new to this channel, you're very, very welcome to stay and learn something that you perhaps have not been exposed to before. I certainly hope that it is something that you will find of interest and maybe even come back. And if you are really interested, just hit that subscribe button. It doesn't hurt to have more people than my 35 subscribers hanging around. All right, so let's begin. Now, let's choose an oracle card. I can get them all up. For people born in the month of May to accompany their reading for the month of August 2025. So an oracle card to accompany the May people's reading for August. And we'll simply take that and pop it under there for later. And now a colour reading for people born in May to look at how August 2025 will develop for them. A colour reading for people born in May for August 2025. And what do we have? We start with purple on red. We go to brown on green. And then pink on yellow. And the underlying energy is green on purple. Very well. The first thing we note is that we have some duplicated colours. We have purple appearing in the past as the activity and also in the underlying energy as the drive or motivation. We also have green as the underlying drive or motivation for the present and as the action within the underlying energy. And when we have the same colour repeated within a reading, it says that we should pay particular attention to those colours, to what those colours represent. So let's have a look at what we have here as the underlying energy. The first thing I need to tell you is that green on purple stands for the tarot card known as the Star. So it's about hope. And what's the hope about? Well, if we have a look at the colour itself, purple internally is the drive or motivation for change, for recovery after calamity, for healing, for making things spiritually and emotionally better. In the green that we have in the action of the underlying energy, we have here opportunities to move forward. Not only taken, but also available. So the need to heal and to move forward is what constitutes the idea of the star, the idea of hope. and that is our underlying energy. In the past, that same purple has appeared, but it's appeared as the energy in the real world. So it's what's actually been happening. And when purple appears as a activity in the real world, it generally results from some sort of catastrophic change that has occurred from outside. This is outside the individual's control, and in fact, it's the same with you. You've found that something major has occurred in your life that has caused things to change quite dramatically. And in that dramatic change, you are now seeking to try and put things back together again, because purple in the real world is the ability to get out there and recreate stuff. Purple is about destruction and creation. What has driven that has been an underlying frustration. Red internally means that you're jumping out of your skin. You've got more energy than you know what to do with. And so what are you trying to do with it? The energy internally is one in which you feel a need to physically change things, to physically make whatever alterations there are in the real world to make things better for yourself. Interestingly, this is also one of the tarot card groupings. Purple on red is the King of Pentacles. And in many ways, since many May people or May-born people are also Taurians, this is one of their earth cards, one of their earth color signs. You've been in the past agitated, wanting to show that you're in charge. And in the real world, things have happened that have caused disruption to your pleasant little life, but you are putting them back into order. Power and passion together form the King of Pentacles. Now, how did that happen as a result of dealing with the star, with energy down here? Red and purple together form a color that has to do with wishing, hoping, praying, getting in touch with your internal spiritual life, but in a very active way. Your mind has been constantly engaged in creating ideas that will solve the issues of the frustrations you've been feeling with the changes that have been happening to you. In the real world, that purple energy, that being able to recover from catastrophe and this drive towards making changes, moving in new directions and so forth, has led you along a path that enables you to find some sort of peace, because both green and purple contain blue inherent within the colors themselves. So there's been a certain degree of comfort in the fact that you are heading in new directions and at the same time fixing what was broken. So now, where has that led us? Well, that same energy of fixing what was broken and heading in new directions to do so now become the drivers of what it is that you'll be doing next. Here, we want to fix things. Here, we want new pastures. And so this need to move on has created a certain degree of stability in terms of what it is that you are going to be doing. You've learnt the skills that are necessary to attain your desires, your goals, your ambitions, those practical skills have all been put into place. And now you're finding that the new directions that you are being moved into are coalescing into something that will be permanent, something that will be stable within your life. The underlying energy here of fixing what was broken is all about dealing with the upshot of what it is that was caused by frustration back here. You were frustrated, things broke, you're now in the process of trying to fix them, you're heading in different directions to do so. And having headed in those directions, you're now creating the stability that is necessary for you to be able to settle back and enjoy some of the benefits of the things that have been happening to you, that you have created for yourself as a result of the goals that you have set for yourself. So where does that take us into the future? Well, there's a lot more learning to be taking place. Yellow in the internal world is always about fears and anxieties. And the urge here is to overcome those fears and anxieties. And those fears and anxieties come from some sort of disruption to your internal life that is different to the disruption here. This disruption is all about change that has happened. It's been unexpected. This is change that is expected. There's some major difficulty that's coming as a result of the changes that occurred, possibly from the goals that you've set back here. But whatever they are, this is a clash of waking up to yourself. Realizing that the reality is here. You now have to overcome the uncertainty and the lack of knowledge that comes with whatever the changes were that you created back here. In the real world, you feel vulnerable. You'll feel as though everything's out of your control. There's not a lot you can do to make yourself feel less fearful, less uncertain, less lacking in control of what is going on in your life. But pink and yellow is also another of the tarot cards. It's the Four of Swords. It's time out. It's time to stop and recuperate. You've run out of energy. All of the energy back here was everywhere, and you've dissipated it in fixing things and making things better and reconstructing stuff and creating something new. Here, it was inherent within the brown. You've got a little bit of red in there. That's all got to do with creating goals and ambitions and learning the skills that are necessary. Now the energy's gone. And in its stead, you're now dealing with the reality of things that you possibly didn't even want to know about, but they've happened all the same, because there's a lot of yellow in the greens. It's happened. Whatever the issue is, you now need to step back and just allow nature to take its course, because you have no other option. So how did the underlying energies influence this? Well, yellow and purple are opposites on the colour wheel. So you've gone from a situation of where there's this urge to heal to a situation where there is the urge to understand what has gone on. And up here, green and pink are also fairly close to being opposites on the colour wheel. The opposites are actually green and red, but here, green and pink are fairly close. So we have here a total removal of hope from a situation. And in many ways, this represents hopelessness. It's hopeless insofar as there's nothing you can do to change whatever it is that's happened here that has led you to here. So that time out, that Four of Swords energy where you have to stop and reconsider and just simply be vulnerable for a time for doing nothing because you don't have the energy to continue, that is something that comes out of the hope having been transmuted into something absolutely, completely and utterly different. This is all within your head in terms of dreams. This is all within your head in terms of realities. Let's have a look at the missing colours to see what happens, what we can do about it. There's no black. There's no white. You do have red, you have yellow, you have green. There's no blue, You do have brown. There's no orange. Oops. There's no grey. You have purple. You have pink. But there's no cyan. These colours, jolly as they may appear, represent the skills that you are currently dealing with in the month of August. These colours are the ones that are missing from the repertoire and probably hold the key to how you can negotiate or navigate this Four of Swords energy, this time out, this hopelessness in a more favourable way. Black has to do with withdrawal. It's taking the time out completely. It's completely disengaging from whatever is out there in your life. White is also a form of disengagement, but it's a form of disengagement as a result of enlightenment, being overwhelmed. This is a voluntary removal. This is an involuntary removal. Blue is about organization. It's about stability. It's about things being in the places where they should be. Everything is ordered. Everything is settled. Orange is the complete opposite of that in terms of everything that is unsettled. It has to do with drama and crisis. It's actually a colour that's hidden in here. The yellow and red make orange. So you're swinging from the beginning of the month where things are full of energy to the end of the month where they're full of mental energy. But the two of them don't meet because in the middle is not orange, it's green. That is a change in values. So orange has to do with drama and crisis and overcoming them. Grey is uncertainty and confusion and seeking after truth. And cyan is all about bliss, satisfaction, comfort, but also stagnation, sameness, the inability for anything to change. So, from these 6 colours, you are ideally urged to take the one that is most appealing and the one that is least appealing and introduce them into your life so that they impinge upon this combination, this underlying energy of hope. And when it does that, it will take you to a place where when you do inevitably need to have that time out, when you do need inevitably to face the fact that things are not going to change for you, much as this tended to suggest it would, this says no, but you'll be able to handle that in a way that allows you to move on, perhaps in a different direction, because green is still a major part of this reading, and it's both a driver and also an action. So maybe you will find yourself somewhere else at the start of September. Let's see. Let's have a look at the oracle card to see what it has to say. And this one is about success. Interesting. Grow and thrive in the universe. Discover the purity of your heart and the higher wisdom that guides you towards victory. Direct your thoughts towards clarity and nurture wisdom, love and goodness within yourself. You're free now and you succeed in your life. How very peculiar. Purity of your heart, higher wisdom, clarity, nurture. Love is down here, and so is goodness and freedom. And this, despite everything, is success. Wow. Well, it seems like August is going to be a very interesting month, don't you think? I hope you've received something out of it, out of these readings that have been of benefit to you. And I hope you'll be back for the next one in September. In the meantime, please do consider using some of the colours that are missing and enter them into your life, because when you do, you find things do move in a different direction to the ones that are normally signed off as being inevitable in the readings. Remember, it's all about your choices. I certainly hope to see you again, and may your life be filled with lots of colour. And until next time, may the colours that you do bring into your life bring you the sorts of things that you desire and deserve. Bye.